Good evening. Welcome back into the evening edition of From Day One. We head back to the courtroom for more of the hijinks.
Oh no, it's a stocking cap. Wait, cap.
I haven't seen this. I don't know what's going on here.
That's what I thought. I let him go. All right, go back on mute. Are you ready, Attorney Kaufman?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. I will go back to the person I started with for that. Lamont Whitfield.
Yes.
All right. Was it nope, it's not an officer here on that today. Now calling the matter of the people versus Lamont Whitfield. This is ticket U 655-76623. This is one count disorderly conduct. Appearances for the record, starting with counsel, please.
Good morning, Harry Baughman for the defendant. Mr. Whitfield, state your full name, please.
Lamont Whitfield.
Judge, the defendant is going to waive his rights to any further trials or hearings. He's going to plead guilty here to disorderly conduct. There's a recommendation for a 90-day delayed sentence. I've explained to Mr. Whitfield what that means, and he's ready to give a factual basis here and now.
All right, if that's the case, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You can put your hand down, sir. Did you have a chance to talk to an attorney about your case and about your rights?
Yes.
Did anyone threaten to enforce you or promise you anything in exchange for a plea today?
No.
Are you pleading guilty of your own choice?
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
And do you understand that by taking this guilty plea today, you're going to give up the rights that you had to have a bench or jury trial in this matter? You understand that?
Yes.
Understanding all of this, did you still want to move forward today?
Yes.
All right, sir. I want to take your attention back to the date of July
Okay, if this stays this normal, I want to announce right now it's April's fault.
31st of 2023. Were you in the area of Lafayette and Lafayette and St. Antoine Streets in the city of Detroit?
Yes.
And did you act in a disorderly manner in that area, sir?
Yes.
Satisfied, counsel?
Yes, I'm satisfied. Thank you.
And the court is satisfied as well and will enter a plea to disorderly conduct. Which place were you fighting outside of, Mr. Whitfield?
It was in a parking structure. It was like a parking lot, basically.
Why?
It wasn't no fight. It was just arguing.
Listen, you cannot, you know how heavily guarded, they told you. They came on the news night after night telling you that it will be upgraded police officers down there in Greektown every single night. Did they not? Especially on the weekends. And you gonna call the corrupt, you cannot do that, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want community service or fine?
Fine, because I work. I can't do the community service.
I understand. So I'm gonna give you, who were you arguing with?
A police officer.
Oh, so Whitfield.
Well, he was being disrespectful too. So I
don't doubt that. So I'm gonna charge you $250, okay? It needs to be paid by the time you come back for your review, which will be in 3 months. So that will be January 18th, 2024 at 8:45 a.m. If paid, no.
Okay, it's kind of cute. The judge likes him. I don't mean in an inappropriate way, but she feels for him. She's like, come on, I don't want to do this to you. Just stop doing stupid stuff. Just in that sense.
No new tickets. I'll dismiss this, okay?
Okay.
All right. You can't argue. I know that, and I don't dispute that they may have been arguing with you, but you in those situations always have to be the bigger person. I'm serious, because they got the power, right? So when the person who has the power is in front of you, you can't be like, nah, because they be like, oh no, I got one for you. Green ticket. Welcome to 36th District Court. Okay, Mr. Whitfield, that's a note for everyone on here. Okay?
Possibly.
Don't go toe to toe with them. They got more power than us. They got more power against me too. So I'm not exempt. Okay. They have power. I can get tickets too, just like y'all, if I don't control myself. So Mr. Whitfield, come back though, have my fine paid $250, and I'll dismiss it.
So I can go down to the court and pay it?
Yep, you can come down to the court and pay it. You can pay like a little bit on it at a time if you want to. Just make sure that the complete amount is finished by the time you come back to court, before you
What's
come
that,
back.
January what?
January the 18th, okay, at 8:45 a.m. via Zoom, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
Officer in the back, are you Officer Poole? All right, come on up. I'm going to call People versus Deshaun James Jones. I have Deshaun Jones on Zoom. I have Officer Poole here in Department 2. This is TR 2023-6008.
I haven't seen this one either, but it's in YOLO.
Citation is count 1, exceeding a 65 mile per hour maximum speed zone. Count 2, failure. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Count 2 has already been disposed of. This is just a trial on count 1, that speed offense. Mr. Jones, were you here at 1:30 when I gave the general advisement that you can withdraw your not guilty plea if you want to and enter a plea of no contest, guilty or guilty with an explanation, and move forward that way? Or you can tell me you want to go forward to trial and I have everyone sworn in and I have the officer testify and you have a chance to ask him questions. You have a chance to offer testimony of your own and arguments. Mr. Jones, I'm reviewing all of that in the event that you might not have heard it. Do you understand all those advisements?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Jones, what I want to ask you is if you want to talk to the officer at all before I go forward and have people sworn in.
No.
Okay. Are you interested in changing your plea at this time or going forward with trial?
Going forward with trial.
Madam Clerk, I have the officer here in person and the defendant here on Zoom. I'm going to ask you to swear them in separately since they're in different places. Can you swear in the officer and then swear in the defendant?
Oh, we've got a full-on trial happening.
I do.
All right. And Mr. Jones is all ready as well.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to. Sorry, you do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in the cause not pending before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right. And Mr. Jones, since you're on Zoom and the officer is here in person, what I'm going to instruct you is if there's at any point you can't see or hear the officer, I want you to raise the Zoom hand so you can let me know that and we can correct that situation, okay?
All right.
Officer Poole, I don't know whether you're presenting any video or documents, but there is a way to do that even when we're in a hybrid situation as we are today. If you're just doing testimony, that's fine as well. And
Just the radar certification, Your Honor.
So what I'm going to ask you to do is I'll have my bailiff hand you this binder, which is going to have certifications that you have on file. If you want to take a moment to find any kind of documentation before you start with your testimony, that's fine. And Mr. Jones, if you want the officer to hold up the document, and show you, and you can have him zoom in or zoom out so that you can see any document that's going to be presented to the court. I want to give you a chance to give the officer directions on whether you can see it. Does that make sense?
Can I ask a question before we start this?
If you have a general procedural question, I can't give legal advice, but I do like to lay out the process of trial for everyone so everyone knows how we're going forward. Mr. Jones, ask your question.
Nah, so my only question, and maybe I should have asked this when you gave me the opportunity to talk to the officer, but either way. So during the traffic stop, I only have one conflicting or contradicting thing here, and that's the matter of who took the radar. During my traffic stop, the officer who approached the vehicle said that he had gotten me on radar, some miles back, allegedly. But when I asked him if his radar gun had been calibrated at the beginning of his shift, he then stated that his partner was the one who allegedly got the radar reading. So that alone in itself, his initial statement was that he had gotten me, then his partner, and then I was never showed a radar reading during this traffic stop.
So, Mr. Jones, what I'm going to tell you is any questions that you want to ask, you'll get a chance to do that after the officer here testifies, okay? I'm gonna say, if you want to take your Zoom hand down, so I can tell if you raise that again later for any purpose. Okay.
Well, Mr. Jones, I anticipate a craptacular defense.
Officer, you've been sworn in. You can go ahead when you're ready. Start with your testimony.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Officer Adam Poole with the California Highway Patrol. I've been a paid full-time peace officer for approximately 19 years now. This is a radar citation for a violation of 22-349A. I'm going to go and lay the foundation for that. I have attended a 24-hour post-radar operator course back in 2005, I believe, and did successfully complete that post-certified class, as well as an additional 30 hours of training, departmental use in visual estimations, which included 100 visual estimations within plus or minus 5 miles an hour with 50 moving and 50 stationary, which I did complete and obtain a certification to be accurate within 5 miles an hour of a visual estimation. The radar unit I was utilizing that day is serial number David Sam 039229, which is an applied concept stalker dual. It was mounted in my patrol vehicle. It has a forward antenna and a rearward antenna. That was at its last IACP certification back on October 7th of 2022. I will submit that as People's Exhibit A. It's on file with the court. I can hold it up for the defendant.
And Mr. Jones, what I'm going to ask you to do, because this is on file with the court and I can look at it here in person, is you just direct the officer to make it closer or further away so that you can see this and examine it. If you want to. Okay, Mr. Jones?
No, I'm not interested in that, to be honest.
Mr. Jones, I'm having a little bit of trouble with the audio. Can you repeat what you said?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Can you just repeat your last comment?
Yeah, I said I'm not interested in what he has. We can move forward.
Okay, officer, go ahead.
All right, Your Honor, on March 29th, 2023 at approximately 10:20 p.m., I was on routine patrol in the area of State Route 113, south of Gibson Road. I was driving a fully marked CHP patrol vehicle number 4227, and I was driving that vehicle, and I had my partner in the right front passenger seat, which is Officer, I can't remember his name. He'll come back. As I was traveling southbound, in this specific area, this is located within unincorporated Yellow County and has clearly marked black and white regulatory signs indicating a maximum speed of 65 miles per hour. As I was traveling southbound in the number 1 lane, my attention was drawn to a vehicle all by itself traveling northbound in the number 1 lane at a high rate of speed. From a distance of approximately 1,200 feet, I visually estimated that vehicle to be traveling at approximately 95 miles per hour. I then activated the forward radar antenna on my patrol vehicle. That's what I remember to my best recollection. I don't recall my partner activating the radar. Generally, the driver always activates the radar, and I was driving that vehicle that day. And I obtained a reading of 95 miles an hour with a clear high-pitched Doppler tone consistent with the indicated speed. As the vehicle passed by, I immediately made a U-turn and accelerated to overtake the suspect vehicle, which turned out to be a black Dodge. The vehicle exited onto Gibson Road, at which time I positioned my patrol vehicle directly behind it and activated my overhead emergency lights, and the vehicle yielded onto Pioneer Boulevard just south of Gibson Road. I contacted the driver through the right front passenger seat, or for the right front passenger window, and identified him as Deshaun James Jones by his Nevada driver's license. Mr. Jones was upset and argumentative. I then issued Mr. Jones a citation number LT 19934 for a violation of 22-349A, traveling 95 and a 65, which he signed in a promise to appear.
Okay. Is that all the testimony that you wish the court to consider?
Yes, Your Honor.
And all the evidence? You've presented everything you want me to see?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Jones, at this time, you have an opportunity and the right to confront and cross-examine the officer who has testified. Now, I've already told this to a few other people, and this may sound familiar. You don't have to give up your right to remain silent in order to confront and cross-examine. So right now, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them. If you want to then provide testimony, you'll have a chance to do that as well. That's the next step. Do you have any questions for the officer?
Yeah, so he mentioned in his testimony that he allegedly paced me. From the time that you allegedly got this radar reading to the time that you allegedly paced me, there was no one behind me and you didn't get behind me until I was at the exit. So I just don't see how a vehicle pace was done.
I never testified that I paced you. I testified that I was traveling southbound as you were traveling northbound, and I visually estimated your speed and confirmed the visual estimation with the radar.
I do recall the word pace being used, but go ahead.
Mr. Jones, do you have any other questions for the officer?
No.
Okay, then argue it. But he smacked you down pretty good, if you ask me.
Then moving on, Mr. Jones, do you wish to provide testimony of your own? You've been sworn in, and if you want to provide sworn testimony, you can do so.
Yeah, I mean, I've already given my I guess testimony. Like I said, just driving down the highway, was getting off the freeway, then I get pulled over. Then he tells me I was allegedly speeding, was not showing any kind of LiDAR or radar reading. And again, he mentioned that his partner had gotten me with his radar gun, and that is truth. But that's all I have.
All right. So, Mr. Jones, I am hearing your testimony that you were never shown the LiDAR or the radar at the traffic stop, and you recall this officer saying that his partner got you with the radar rather than him. Is that everything that you're testifying to?
Yes.
Okay, I understand your testimony, Mr. Jones. I don't have any other clarifying questions about your testimony. What I'm going to give you the opportunity to do is make any kind of closing argument on your own behalf that you want to make regarding the vehicle code 22349 subdivision A infraction that you're charged with for exceeding 65 mile per hour posted speed limit. Go ahead, Mr. Jones. Any argument you want the court to consider?
No.
At this time, I'm going to review the evidence and testimony that was presented, and I'm going to make my ruling. All right. What I have noted down is foundational testimony laid for radar post training of not less than 24 hours as required, visual estimation, 50 moving, 50 stationary for a total of 100 plus or minus 5 miles per hour, and 30 hours additional CHP training, including that visual estimation. The testimony that I heard, and which I do credit, is that the officer here was driving in the opposite direction as Mr. Jones, made a visual estimate of 95 miles per hour in a posted 65 mile per hour zone in unincorporated Yolo County, flipped a U-turn to overtake the defendant's vehicle, Mr. Jones's vehicle, and activated lights where defendant yielded, and that there was an identification by a valid Nevada driver's license. I have heard Mr. Jones' cross-examination regarding pacing and testimony that you were not shown LiDAR or radar information at the stop itself, and that you recall the officer's partner taking the radar rather than the officer who's testified here. I do find persuasive evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Jones, you were driving in excess of a posted 65 mile per hour speed limit in Yolo County. I am going to find you guilty of count 1 based on that, and I am going to sentence you on count 1, which is what trial was set for today. Mr. Jones, I also want to ask you if you have proof of completion on count 2, the insurance count. You pled at arraignment, set today's date, I believe, for your proof of completion of insurance. And if you've brought that, if you want to hold it up, we can go off streaming. We're streaming on YouTube right now, so I don't want you to hold that up right now. But if you want to present that to the court, I can give you a chance to do so. And if not, I'll just tell you, you've already been sentenced on that count. But if you wanted an additional time to bring proof of completion, I would grant you potentially additional time on that proof of completion. Okay, Mr. Jones? And let me just say,
I'm not the owner of the vehicle, so I'm not sure what he did.
Got it. Okay. Officer, I have found the defendant guilty of count 1, which is what the trial was on. You're free to leave if you want to. You can stay for sentencing if you want to.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Jones, even if you're not the owner of the vehicle, it is possible to bring in proof that you have operator's insurance that you have obtained after the citation date, or that the owner of the vehicle has gotten it insured. There's different ways to bring in proof of after acquired insurance. The lack of insurance is a hefty fine, and I just want to give you a chance to bring in any kind of documentation. And if you want additional time to try to bring in proof of correction on the insurance, I'd grant you additional time on that. So I'm going to sentence you on count 1, but I'm also telling you that if you want time to bring in proof of correction on count 2, I give you that. Okay.
All right.
Mr. Jones, on count 1, the standard fine is $567. I'm going to order you to pay that by December 20, 2023. The court won't send out additional notice about that. If you have financial need that you want the court to consider, we have an ability to pay application. You're not stopped from filling that out, even though I found you guilty at trial, you could still do that. So if you go on the Yellow Court website and you fill out whatever your financial information is, if it's a hardship for you to pay your basic necessities and also the court fines that I'm imposing, please let me know that. And particularly on the insurance, because it's a very hefty fine, you can include that as well. So it's $567 on count 1. And I'm just going to remind you that the insurance is $1,059 or $25 with proof of correction is what you were promised here. Do you need an extension of time? Do you want an extension of time, Mr. Jones, to bring in your proof of correction? Because I could extend that out to December 20 as well.
Yeah, but question on that. So like so I have to get a separate insurance for that day? Like, how does that even work?
So after acquired insurance, it can be for the vehicle in the citation, or it can be operator's insurance that covers you. You should know that you always have to have insurance. If you're driving someone else's car and it is not insured, you can be cited for not having insurance in a car that you are driving, but you can have operator's insurance that covers you regardless of any other car that you drive, regardless of whether that owner has insurance. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Jones, I'm going to extend your proof of completion deadline on count 2 out to December 20th, just to match the same day as the fine that I'm assessing on count 1. Okay.
All right.
So if you don't bring in any proof of completion, the total fines on count 1 and count 2 are $1,626. But if you bring in proof of completion, it's $567 on count 1, $25 on count 2. Okay.
All right.
And fill out that ability to pay application if you are in financial need. Okay.
All right.
All right, Mr. Jones, you are free to go. That is everything.
All right.
Bye, sir.
You work for Bill Head on the beach?
Yeah. And I really like my job there.
Funny dude. He's hysterical. All right, ma'am. On the false ID to a law enforcement officer, bonds $1,500. On the petty theft, $1,000. Court date's gonna be October the 20th. That's Friday at 8:30.
Okay.
Tell Mr. Head I said, hey.
Okay, will do.
Step to your right to the T. When the light comes on, sign. Next. State your name.
Miss Iris, before the court charges domestic violence battery. Do you understand the charge, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
I understand you've been given copies of paperwork and advised of your rights. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am. Based on your application, finds you do qualify, I'm going to go ahead and appoint the public defender to represent you. Any question about that?
No, sir.
Deputy, criminal history?
She shows no history.
Why is Brian Kelly here?
Judge,
Brian, this is the fourth time I've seen you today.
Just missed you, Judge. You may
That's
have
at
a
least
Dylan
3
Grimes
for me.
on your docket today.
Number
Yes,
17.
number
yeah.
27.
Oh, 27.
I'm here for him,
Yeah.
Judge.
Well, okay. When we get through with the women, we might try to move him up.
Judge, I've got
Again.
all day. Just glad to see you.
4 times, Brian. It's 4. I really that exceeds my Brian Kelly quota.
I hear that all the
All right,
time.
Mr.
Judge.
I bet you did. All right, ma'am. I'm going to release you on what's called pretrial release. You need to report to the pretrial release office before 9 o'clock tomorrow. Your court date's going to be Friday, October the 20th at 8:30. No contact directly, indirectly, or through a third party, the alleged victim. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Step to your right to the T. When the green light comes on, sign. State your name, ma'am.
Danielle Kramer.
Ms. Kramer, you're fully court charged with domestic violence battery. You understand that charge?
Yes, sir.
I understand you've been given copies of paperwork and advised of your rights. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am. Based on your application, finds you do qualify, I'm going to go ahead and appoint the public defender to represent you. Any question about that?
No, sir.
Deputy, criminal history, Ms. Kramer?
It just shows she had a misdemeanor charge in 21 with the VOP on it last year, but it doesn't tell me what the charge was.
Bonds 2,500, court dates October 20th at 8:30, no contact, directly, indirectly, through a third party, alleged victim.
Step to your right to the T, ma'am. When the light comes on, sign. Red X, ma'am. Face the TV and state your name.
Heather Kent.
Ms. Kent, you're fully court charged driving under the influence. You understand that charge?
Yes, sir.
I understand you've been given copies of paperwork and advised of your rights. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
You've indicated you're going to hire your own attorney to represent yourself. Is that how you're going to proceed?
Yes, sir.
All right. Deputy, criminal history?
She shows no history.
Bonds 2,500. Court date's going to be October 20th at 8:30. No alcohol while you're on release.
Step to your right to the T. When the green light comes on, sign. Next. State your name.
Cheyenne Bear.
Ms. Barry, you're on failure to appear for an arraignment or a refusal to obey police officer in front of Judge Grammer. You understand that, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right, Judge Grammer, set your bond at $500. Your court date's gonna be October the 20th at 8:30. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Step behind her at the signature pad. Next. Red X, ma'am. State your name.
Chastity Spakes, Watford.
Ma'am, you're fully court charged of violation of community control for possession of cocaine ×2. That charge being in front of Judge Register. You understand that, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Based on your application, finds you do qualify, I'm going to go ahead and appoint the public defender to represent you. Judge Register, in his infinite wisdom, is order you held without bond. Your court date is going to be November the 15th at 9 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Step behind her. Bear. Bear, step on the T. When the light, there you go, sign. Next.
Next.
Step to your right. Step on the X. Wait. Step out for me.
You good?
That ain't it. I don't know who that is, but I know who it was.
I was wondering how long it would take for him to get after her.
Hey, Judge, may I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a job and stuff, and I was just trying to see if I can just get reinstated. I have a job and I have a place. I just ran out of money living in a motel room.
That's going to be between you and Judge Register, okay?
Okay, because I lose my job and my residence where I'm in here.
Yeah.
State your name, ma'am.
Ms. Jones,
Yes, sir.
before the court charged of battery on a security officer at Gulf Coast Medical Center. You understand that, ma'am?
Yes.
I understand you've been given copies of paperwork and advised of your rights. Is that true?
That is true.
All right, ma'am. Based on your application, finds you do qualify for the services of the public defender's office. I'm going to go ahead and appoint the public defender to represent you. Any question about that?
No, sir.
Deputy, criminal history?
Oh, yeah, FTA out Alabama 15, Georgia DWLSR and a VOP.
I'm sorry.
All right, ma'am. Bond set at 5,000. Court date's going to be November the 20th at 9 o'clock. No contact with the alleged victim.
All right, ma'am, if you'll step to your right to the T on the floor. When the green light